Hi friends, Cassandra here. In today's video, I'll share 15 preparedness supplies you can find at most thrift stores. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list, so be sure to comment below sharing items you'd add to this list or what you found at your thrift stores. And if this is our first time meeting, welcome to my channel. I describe myself as a woman with her feet on both sides of the grass. During the day, I work full-time outside of my home, but at night you can catch me digging my hands in the dirt or dough, turning our 1/8 of an acre townhome into a micro homestead. My husband and I are planning our escape to the country in the next 4 years, but until then, you'll find me small space gardening, food preserving, and learning all the homestead skills I can and sharing them with you. Click subscribe if you're interested in that type of content and would like to view my catalog of videos. But first, friends, you know sometimes I like to have a little pantry chat before we hop into the video that's related to the topic, so I'll include the timestamp right now that you can fast forward to and get to the 15 item quick hit list. However, I do encourage you to hang on for a minute or two because I'm going to share how I've started to rethink my thrifting routine during this time. Now, I loved thrift and antique stores. If I'm not there, I'm either at the farmer's market or the grocery store. That's pretty much it. Now, I can't speak for your neck of the woods, but in my area, Facebook Marketplace has exploded. Now, I never took it too seriously before because I love the atmosphere and hunt of actually being in a thrift store. But let me tell you, if this is an option, use it. And here are my 2 reasons. All right, y'all, so I'm just gonna be transparent. At the beginning of quarantine, I immediately put in a big order for canning rings and lids. Now, I did have a small inventory or stockpile left over from the previous year, but I knew that it wasn't going to be enough to get me through the upcoming canning season. But one of the things that I also wanted to do was to get a wide mouth jar sealer. And let me tell you, you could not find them anywhere at all. And I remember placing an order with an online company, but they were unable to determine, when they could get the item out to me. So one of the things that I did instead is I was on Facebook Marketplace and I actually found a seller who wanted to sell that item. But unfortunately, they were in a different state, and at that time in the whole events of everything, we couldn't cross state lines. So it dawned on me that I could actually use the mail service to send a paid envelope to this woman's address, and that all she would have to do is just put that item in the envelope that I paid for, and then I also scheduled a pickup online. And I was able to, probably 2 weeks into the whole quarantine process, get a food saver jar, which was so excellent because I was able to take some items that I immediately didn't have vacuum sealed, and I use a brake bleeder to seal my items, but I was able to get a lot of preserving done and even extend the shelf life of some of my foods. And so sometimes when you can't find an item at a thrift store, but you know exactly what you want, using Facebook Marketplace allows you to be able to do that because you immediately see the item and you're able to purchase it oftentimes at a discount. And I would encourage you to do what I did with items that make sense. So if there are sellers that are far away from you where it doesn't make sense for you to make that drive, if it does make sense for you to send the Postal Service has these different varying sizes of boxes and padded envelopes that if it fits, it ships for just a flat rate. Go ahead and do that if that's a material that you absolutely need. And then what I typically do is I'll reach out to the seller and I will let them know. Many times that I want to go ahead and just send like an envelope to their house. What I'll do first is I will actually take a recording of me sending the money to them. Some sellers prefer a check, or sometimes it's an electronic payment. There's a little bit of trust, that goes into this, but I haven't been burned by that. But I'm also not ordering things that are extremely expensive. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then a lot of sellers have just said how much they appreciate that being an option. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the second way that I have used Facebook Marketplace. So speaking of canning, it has been crazy trying to find jars, and if you're a canner, you know that you can easily, in a single canning session, especially if you're getting seconds from the farmer's market like I do, during a canning session you can easily use 15, 20, 30 jars, and so I've looked around everywhere at stores and they're just plumb out. You cannot find canning jars anywhere, or if you're not there at the right time, the small amount that does come in, you can't get them. But I have been able to use Facebook Marketplace to find canning jars. And what I realized is that this option is generally a better option. Because typically, if you are picking up traditional materials, especially in categories that don't have a lot of popularity around them, even though it's exploded this year with canning, what's been so great is if you make contact with a person that is selling canning jars, and I actually just came across a woman about 45 minutes away from me that was selling over 80 canning jars for $30. Now, they're not the Balls brand canning jars, but they're going to work. They're for commercial grade. They were actually used for an applesauce company here in the state of Maryland. And so I know that they're going to work, and I was just so grateful to find them. But the great thing about that is that sellers on Facebook Marketplace are on there because they're trying to find someone that will take their wares. And typically what people will do is reach out to family and friends first to kind of give them the items. But now that I've been able to make contact with this previous seller, it's great because she will notify me first when it comes to getting supplies or getting materials that she thinks that I'm going to be interested in. One of the things that I do to kind of jump in and see if I can get that item is when I make contact with a person on Facebook Marketplace, I will actually send them recent pictures of things that I'm canning. And that's not hard because I am canning here every single day. August is just, the harvest comes in hard and fast. And so I think there's probably priority that sellers have when giving their items to someone else because they know just how much you're going to appreciate it. So I just wanted to go ahead and share those tips that even though I am a person that loves going to a thrift store, and you can definitely find a lot of items still at the thrift store, that if you are someone like me who wasn't as familiar with Facebook Marketplace, definitely start to give it a try and use the two options that I just shared to give you a competitive edge. Okay, now let's jump into the video for real. Number 1, dehydrators. Not only can you dehydrate fruits, vegetables, herbs, and more, you can eat them dried or rehydrate them for anything from cobblers to pizza sauce. Dehydrators are also really cost effective for what you get. Now, brand new, they might run you $60 or several hundred for a premium brand like an Excalibur, but I just use a Nesco brand and I've had great results. Dehydrators also allow you to save the harvest when it's the least expensive and convert fresh or perishable items into long-term storage. They're also great as a grab-and-go option because they aren't laden with processing chemicals and don't require refrigeration. Number 2, canning jars. You will make an initial investment with canning, but once you get started, it will save you tons of money during the duration of your lifetime. Canning my own fruits, vegetables, and meats allows me to stock my pantry at today's prices for months, if not years to come. And once you start to can your own, you'll realize the superior taste and value of home canned foods. Number 3, cast iron. Cast iron cookware is the best investment your money can buy, but so many people overlook it. Maybe it's because most folks don't realize that even if it is a bit rusted, you can restore cast iron back to full use. Cast iron is a metal that distributes heat beautifully, is virtually indestructible, and are real workhorses in the kitchen. The pan can go from the stovetop to the oven, saute, fry, bake, broil, and all the things, which is why I will never be without it. Once you buy it, you won't need to replace it. Number 4, outdoor solar lights. If you experience power outages frequently, or you just want to prepare for that event, and you don't feel comfortable using lots of candles or lanterns, you can just grab your outdoor solar lights for indoor use, pluck them in a vase, and carry them around, and you're set. Number 6, oil lanterns. This could be its very own video because I love using oil lamps. I've noticed that our thrift stores have these almost all the time. Now, you'll want to vary your collection and get different types because some oil lamps are better for night or low light, while others produce more heat and light, like an Aladdin lamp, or are better suited for walking around with or the outdoors, like camping lanterns. Batteries expire, oil in your lamps won't. Number 7, tools. Thrift stores are a great place to find hand tools for your garden or home, and if the tool has made it to the thrift store, it's probably on the better side of quality. Although we use both, we make sure to have the essential tools that don't require electricity or batteries as hand tools. Number 8, medical equipment. My thrift store will package small bags of bandage wrap, sealed Band-Aids, and tweezers into miscellaneous bags, and the savings from these is great. Having these options around your home is great because for minor incidents, you've already got what you need at a fraction of the price you have to pay if you needed to either A, pay full price, or B, there's limited supply. Number 9, books. The internet is great, and that's how we're connecting right now. But for some, it's become a complete replacement for having reference information in physical form. If your internet connection is lost due to, say, a storm or maintenance or other reasons, having knowledge about home repairs, medical first aid, or enjoyable reading continues to give you access to information you need. And during this year of homeschooling, having supplemental materials for your kids or cookbooks filled with recipes, coloring books, word finds, or other texts goes a long way. Number 10, sewing supplies. You may not find a sewing machine too often at your thrift store, but you can often find accessories such as bobbins, threads, sewing needles, and other items. And because accessories eventually wear down or become misplaced, you'll want to make sure that you have a stockpile of these supplies too. Having a sewing machine for even small projects extends the life out of items you might otherwise discard because you can't repair them, and allows you to easily repurpose items into other things. And can I just say that sewing is fun and meditative once you get the hang of the basics? Number 11, games. Board games are so fun. It's a great way to get everyone around the table and have a free night of entertainment as you're surrounded by homemade snacks and maybe some music in the background. There's no need to pay full price for games as long as you have the instruction manual and all of the parts of the game in the box. Number 12, work clothes and shoes. I love getting sturdy brands of shoes and clothing from the thrift store, especially if these are clothes I'll be using to complete home renovations, gardening, or other chores in. There's no need for them to be new when the point is to get them dirty, they just need to be durable. Most thrift stores are great places to find professional grade fabrics and outdoor gear for pennies on the dollar. Number 13, kerosene heaters. If you experience moderate to severe winter weather, having an off-grid heat source is a must. The good thing is that you can often find kerosene heaters at thrift stores that may simply need a wick replaced or missing a couple of screws to hold things in place. Now this could and will be a separate video because I love using perfection heaters. I currently have 3 and I'm hoping to get 2 more. These heaters are beautiful, are easier than the modern kerosene heaters to maintain, and they have such a rich history. I found all 3 of them for less than 30 bucks each, so grab them if you can find them. And comment below if you're a perfection kerosene heater fan. Number 14, book bags and fanny packs. Book bags and fanny packs are usually abundant at my thrift store. Now, these are essential items for just everyday life, day trips, overnight trips, or for keeping emergency supplies organized and ready to go in your vehicle. Number 15, a butane stove or fire pit. Towards the end of the summer and also at the beginning of spring, I've noticed that you can find a lot of camping gear like sleeping bags, butane stoves, or fire pits. Get these. They make great outdoor cooking options that, depending on size, can be portable and are practical on days that are hot and you don't want to heat up your house or you just want to enjoy being outside. All right, I've got a bonus one for you. Wool items. Let's circle back to weather. Having items made of wool, whether it's blankets, sweaters, hats, or coats, are items I always pick up if I see them. Wool is excellent at regulating your body temperature, it wicks moisture away from your skin, and it doesn't retain odor like cotton. Merino wool is an excellent blend for shirts. It's durable, wrinkle resistant, and when you wash wool, you only need to air dry it. If you found this discussion helpful, you'd likely enjoy my grocery hauls where I show you how to use canning, fermentation, and dehydration to extend the life of your fresh food items while shopping. I post weekly sharing tips and techniques around my kitchen and garden. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. Take care, friends.